Hello and welcome to the analyst comments offered to you by 11 Blockchains. I am Enrico Camirinelli, VP of Research. And today's analyst comments is about the skills you need to master for a blockchain interview. Now here we are speaking about two kinds of interviews. A job interview, the one that you want to run when you are seeking or applying for a job. And the second interview is when you already have the job and you are now interviewing your counterpart, a potential client, or a client that has signed for a contract and wants to implement a blockchain-based project. So let's start with the first kind of interview, the one where you are preparing for a job interview. So the first thing that you are expected to be ready and prepared is to start with the fundamentals of blockchain. So you will be expected to know the basics of blockchain, of the technology, because of course that is the, I would say, the ABC of any professional who wants to engage in a new endeavor or in a new job based on blockchain technology. The second most important characteristic and skill you want to handle is the ability to improve your cross-discipline broad skills. Although you're applying for a mostly technology-based application, you are still expected to be proficient in other disciplines, like, for instance, basics of financial knowledge, logistics, operations, procurement, because you will be speaking with business people. Learn about the different blockchain platforms. You are expected to know about those platforms that are today the most relevant and renowned. We can think of Ethereum, we can think of course, the Bitcoin blockchain, but also other platforms like Corda, like Hyperledger Fabric, like Quorum, Ripple, all the ones that are the most, let's say, renowned. You want to handle them, or at least know how they work in good details. Learn to couple business with technology. Absolutely important. Again, it's not only a technical job. You want to apply your technical skills, but to business processes. Know about distributed ledgers and decentralized platforms. Again, it's very important to know how they work, the architectures, because you are going to speak with people that know about business. So in a company, when you apply for a job, you are there not only to develop beautiful applications, but those applications must be adapted and respondent to the needs of the business people. So be ready to explain why the solution that you are proposing should be run on blockchain and not on a traditional platform or on a traditional, say, centralized database. Understand enterprise business processes. As I said before, is not only about technology, or better, is applying technology to business needs and business requirements. So you must know how a purchase order operates. You must know how source to pay, order to cash, fulfill to service, these main business processes, how they operate, how they are connected, what are the workflows, because you must handle them. You must speak the same language of your business counterpart. Be able to couple creativity with simplicity. Blockchain, as you know, is very technically detailed, many complexities. We speak about cryptographic algorithms. We speak about distributed ledgers. We speak about tokens. So all these things need to be simplified. But in order to simplify, you have to be creative, which means you must be able to translate these difficult technical complexity into something that your business counterpart can work. So be able to speak with examples, be able to bring up use cases, and be creative, even in illustrations. Don't be too much technical, because that is not what your hiring manager is looking for you. Join a blockchain community. This will help you understand how the business dynamics operate. Will also help you find a good network, good people that can give you good advice in your hiring process. Grasp how blockchain standards and ecosystems work. It's very important. We know that one of the big issues that you have in any innovative technology is the lack of common standards. So the problem that many face, standards in terms of technology standards, but also, most importantly, in terms of language and definition standards. So calling the same things in the same way is very important. So through the communities and through your personal readings, make sure that you get aware of what are the current trends that are trying to create common definitions. The ISO, International Standards Organization, is working on this. You have also other initiatives that are trying to standardize and make common terminology. From a technical perspective, you have the DSI, Digital Standards Initiative, for instance, that is working to combine platforms that operate in trade finance like Corda, Hyperledger Fabric, and trying to harmonize and make them interoperable. Know how to communicate value. Nothing is more important than being able to translate into value, which is basically financial terms, anything that you are proposing. So in your job interview, make examples and explain how could you create value. As much as possible, speak about tangible value. Even cost reduction is an important aspect. But also, if you are suggesting so-called intangible values, like, for instance, customer satisfaction, employee loyalty, streamlining processes, try always to find, and this is why your creativity is important, try to find ways to help your counterpart, the person who's interviewing you, to understand what is the value you would bring to the organization. Gain knowledge of different development tools. This is very much technical, and so you must master the way, for instance, that you want to write smart contracts, the different, say, smart contract languages, but also development tools in terms of how to run a project. Because at the end of the day, even if you are hired as a blockchain expert, you will be operating with existing infrastructures, existing IT architectures, and you cannot get rid of those. So you must be able to harmonize existing development tools with the ones that are peculiar to blockchain. And join an enterprise blockchain certification course. This will give you that extra value, will give you an extra position when talking to your counterpart. So these 12 let's say skill sets are the basics that you should have in preparation of a job interview. Now, once you have that job, and bear with me, this is not only for finding a job in a company. This is also if you want to run your own company, your own consulting service on blockchain. Well, you must be prepared to have these skills at hand. And this is when you will start interviewing your counterpart, your client, or your internal client, if you're operating in an enterprise, in a company, and running a blockchain project. This is where, what are the tips for cracking a blockchain interview? This is more when you are already running in a project and you want to interview your counterpart to make sure to get all what your counterpart is needing in order to implement a successful blockchain project. So study the company. You want to know what is the industry sector, if there are any particular use cases, if there are any existing experiences or any peculiar business processes that are typical of that company or the industry the company works in. Understand who its suppliers are, who its major clients are, how it is structured. Is it a multinational company? Is it a small or very small company? Those are the basics of the interview. Research about your responsibilities. Again, this, if you are you're applying for a job interview, what are you going to do in that company? Most importantly, if you are interviewing a client for a blockchain-based implementation project, what is your role? What are you accountable for? Can you instruct people that work for that company? What are the limits that you are subject to, and what are instead, the responsibilities, but also what is your level of independency and of guidance? Think before answering. I would say this is I would say a recommendation that applies in any case. and in any circumstance. Focus on body language and speaking voice. It's very important because you are speaking about an innovative technology that is still not having mass adoption. So it has some limits, it has many criticisms. So the odds are that you have in front of you someone who believes in blockchain but still has some doubts, and so is looking from you as somebody who can resolve those doubts. And you have to do that in a way that is simplistic, but not, sorry, simple, but not simplistic. And also that you are able to transfer your knowledge and skills to this person. So knowledge is not an exclusivity. Don't keep things just for yourself. Try to be open, and to be open also, your body language will express how collaborative you want to be with the other person. Never forget that the person you're talking to is taking a big risk, because that person has promoted within his or her company the need of running a blockchain project and is looking for you as the best ally to make sure that he or she will get success because his or her suggestion was the best one. And so make sure that you, since the day one, you are collaborating with that person and you're not retaining your skills just because you don't want to give out your secrets. Map your skills and keep them updated. This is very important in that company, whether you are hired in the company or you are operating as an external consultant, you are the one expected to know everything, or you are the most updated. So keep on studying, keep on learning each day. Predict the blockchain questions. The usual ones are, why should I use blockchain and not my traditional technology? Isn't blockchain only about Bitcoins? Or what are the standards? So there is a long list of usually or frequently asked questions. Be prepared to answer, not in a contradiction way. So don't be, how could I say, don't make the person that is asking these questions, although these questions might be very basic, trivial, and sometimes, let's say, stupid, but don't give that impression. You are the expert, you are the facilitator, so every question is a good and legitimate question. So be prepared to those and be prepared to answer in a constructive manner. Conduct mock interviews. This is both when you are preparing for a job interview, but also, most importantly, when you're preparing to interview people in a company that are managing and are handling the business processes that you are going to improve and you are going to impact with a blockchain-based solution. So prepare those questions. Perhaps, prepare them with your internal sponsors, a sponsor at the company. So try to anticipate what the questions and critiques will be, because you will not always find people who are waiting for you and are expecting you to operate with them. And then sell yourself. Sell yourself, again, in a legitimate and honest way. So show the value you have. Don't feel shy if you are expert, if you have experiences, if you have been, if your articles have been published, if you have been participating in conferences, if you feel that you have a good knowledge, don't feel shy. Again, don't be too arrogant, but give the sense that you handle the matter, that you are capable of both speaking about technology, but most importantly about how that technology is going to impact the business of your potential employer or your client. So with this, I close the analyst comment for this session. That was how to prepare for a blockchain interview. Thank you for listening. I am Enrico Camirinelli, VP of Research at 11 Blockchains.